Ibrahim Traoré, marching for His Excellency, President Ibrahim Traoré. Listen to His Excellency, President Ibrahim Traoré's wise words to the people and the world.
Our country has long been in a very complicated system. Most of you who are young like me, we were born into this system. But that's not what can allow Burkina to thrive. Because in this situation there are only two cases. Either we accept to fight or we remain slaves forever. I told you once, there are those who are slaves in their minds. They can only serve their master. And those people try every time to manipulate you. You must advise each other. Because every situation can be exploited by these enemies of the nation to try to discourage you, to demotivate you. So, you must advise each other and not pay attention to certain remarks, even on some media. Not everyone is obliged to be patriotic. You are the first patriots. You have decided to defend the homeland. There is nothing better than that. Those who want to support you, let them support you. Those who want to discourage you through writings, you must close your ears and move forward. As for those, we will fight them here. So, we must remember something. Recently, there is a so-called NGO. It's not even an NGO. Because NGO stands for non-governmental organization. They are not non-governmental because they are funded by a federal budget, by a state. This so-called NGO produces reports claiming that the FDS and the VDP commit abuses. It went in here, it came out there. It's to tarnish your morale. It's to scare you, to prevent you from being able to fight. No. Moreover, we are going to file a complaint against this NGO because people need to understand something. What is happening to us here? It's true that they have manipulated part of our populations in the Sahel here, but they didn't have that kind of weaponry. What brought such significant weaponry into their ranks? It's Libya. Who destroyed Libya? It's this NGO, the same NGO that made false reports and gave them to those who wanted to create a rebellion so that people would intervene and overthrow Gaddafi. And the powder keg ended up being poured into the Sahel. These millions of lives that have been taken in the Sahel, we must file a complaint against this NGO because it is responsible for these false reports it made to support this thesis of attacking Libya. They have no moral lessons to give us. Look at the world. Let them go defend human rights all over the world first before coming here. We are fortunate to have similar situations. In this world, you voluntarily committed yourselves. There are countries where people are forcibly taken, killed. You leave or you die. Others, even while trying to flee, end up dying. They don't talk about human rights because these people see us as subhumans. They see us as slaves. That's how it is in their minds. They have never changed their mindset, but it's up to us to show them that we are not slaves and we will never accept this state of affairs. So don't be fooled by the stories. They tell to anyone who will listen. You must stay focused on your fight. Stay focused. We know what we are doing. And even now, the VTP commander told me that there is a human rights training session underway for group leaders and their deputies. If we make efforts, we know it's for ourselves. We no longer do things to please someone else. We do it for our homeland. And you are committed to that. Defend your homeland. Do not listen to those individuals. They should not affect your morale. In the history of the world, there have been wars. And during the Second World War, people organized themselves to defend all over the place. But there is a country that could not defend itself, which had to come and take our ancestors to go defend them. And today that same country wants to give us lessons. The pot calling the kettle black. No. You are the descendants of those same ancestors who went to defend others, who liberated the world from Nazism. Today you are fighting for your lands. These same individuals dare to create terms to tarnish you. We oppose this. We will never agree. Continue to defend your lands. It is your wealth that interests these people. It's our gold, it's our minerals that interest them. Otherwise, why come and drive out entire villages to seize our lands? So we will fight and we will reclaim our lands, our wealth. It belongs to us. It's for us. It will benefit us and our children. I therefore encourage you to remember that this war is to free us from slavery. It's for our independence. And you must keep your spirits high, stay strong. Never give into manipulators, to those individuals who no longer understand the notion of homeland, or to those people who come from outside to try to subdue us through their terms they invented and their organizations they created to enslave us. Fight, move forward, do everything you can. Draw, as I said, from your cultural resources, from what you have been shaped by since the village. Draw from it and wage this war. Stay focused and stay strong.
Global solidarity marches in support of His Excellency President Ibrahim Traoré, Africa's youngest leader. May the 1st, 2025, in a sweeping show of international solidarity, thousands of demonstrators marched through the capitals of African nations and cities around the world in support of His Excellency President Ibrahim Traoré of Burkina Faso, currently the world's youngest head of state and a rising symbol of African self-determination. From Ouagadougou to Bamako, from Dakar to Johannesburg, and even parts of the global diaspora, including Paris, New York, and London, where the motivator is based. We are supporters of the 36-year-old leader. We gathered in public squares. We waved Burkinabe flags. We chanted pan-African slogans and calling for the end of foreign interference in African governance. The outpouring of support comes in the wake of two major developments. The 19th foiled coup attempt, allegedly coordinated from neighboring Ivory Coast, and the critical marks from the 4-star US General Michael Langley, who accused President Traoré of misusing Burkina Faso's gold reserves, a claim that many see as part of a broader campaign by Western countries to undermine leaders who challenge post-colonial influence. This claim was made without presenting any evidence to Congress or other third parties. His Excellency President Ibrahim Traoré, since coming to power in 2022, following a popular uprising and military transition, President Ibrahim Traoré has positioned himself as a fierce pan-Africanist and reformer. Under his leadership, Burkina Faso has made tremendous strides in security, protecting the national borders, education reform, upgrading the education system, and natural resource control, important for agriculture. But most importantly, it's paid for that the state reclaiming of gold revenues for national development. In particular, has won widespread praise among citizens long marginalized by global mining interest. Traore's vision resonates deeply with a growing Pan-African consciousness across the African continent, especially among the youth, who see him as a symbol of resistance against neocolonialism and foreign military presence. President Traoré is not just a leader of Burkina Faso, he is the voice of a generation tired of exploitation and hypocrisy, said a protester in Bamako. The world needs to understand that Africa is rising, and we stand by him. The African historic diasporan communities point to a pattern of Western nations, particularly former colonial countries like France and United States, attempting to discredit African leaders who assert greater sovereignty over their nation's resources and military affairs. The comment made by the 4-star General Langley, made during a US Senate committee hearing, have been widely condemned by African and Caribbean leaders and civil society groups as unsubstantiated and inflammatory. The Burkina Faso government swiftly denounced the accusation, reaffirming its commitment to transparency and national development. We are no longer in the era where African nations are dictated to by foreign countries, a government spokesman said. Burkina Faso belongs to its people, and the President Traoré represents their aspirations. The historic diasporan African communities numbers hundreds of millions worldwide. We see President Ibrahim Traoré's leadership as a continuation of historic freedom movements led by the likes of Post-Sankara, Kwame Nkrumah, Patrice Lumumba. Online hashtag like Stand with Traoré and Africa for Africans have gone viral, with the diaspora influencers and grassroots organizations calling for greater unity amongst African ascendants worldwide. With the African continent facing pivotal questions about governance, foreign relations, and sovereignty, the mass demonstration in favor of His Excellency President Ibrahim Traoré sends a clear message that a new generation is rising and refused to be silenced. And there you have it. This is the Motivator Show. This is where we translate our words into action, and where success is ours for the taking. Because in unity is strength. How are you feeling, people? How are you feeling? Well, I'm feeling fantastic. I'm feeling wow. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It has been a fantastic few days, I have to say. There's always that gap between each of these podcasts. So much has happened, but each experience has been a truly empowering experience. And of course, the key moment of the last few days was of course, the 1st of May, the global march in support of President Ibrahim Traoré. His Excellency, President Ibrahim Traoré. And long may continue so. And we're going to have more of this later on in this podcast. In approximately 40 minutes, we will have members of the Burkina community here in London and overseas speaking directly to the motivator. Oh yes, but I was there. I was there on the march. I was there, proud to be there on the march in support of His Excellency Ibrahim Traoré. Absolutely right. Absolutely. Translate words into action. These are not idle discussions we're having here. These are meaningful actions. They're intended to move forward. There's no looking backward. We're moving forward with intention. But before then, we're now going to go right into this podcast. There's much I need to pack into this limited time, but it's going to be useful. So first of all, I want to congratulate some of my past guests very quickly. And I know you all would agree with me that these past few podcasts for 2025 have served and inspired you, your family, your network, indeed, peoples worldwide. And I'm grateful for your feedback. Okay. I want to give praise and respect to the people of the Sudans, both South Sudan and North Sudan. There is a humanitarian crisis occurring in Sudan right now. Okay. It is one that's not generally discussed, I note. But we're going to discuss it here in a future podcast. Because my guests from South and North Sudan are grieving. Loved ones have passed. I want to acknowledge what is happening in South Sudan. And we will have a greater focus on South Sudan in a near future podcast. But there is an appeal going out to the wider communities to support the people of the Sudans, so we can create peace, so we can create prosperity for all people of Sudan. So I want to acknowledge the crisis, the humanitarian crisis that is happening in South Sudan, North Sudan right now. And that's part of the reasons why we haven't yet completely concluded those interviews. Okay? But I lament what is happening in South and North Sudan. Okay? I lament. And we, peoples, human beings of conscience, have a responsibility to help the Sudanese, the people of South and North Sudan, to find peace so they can share in the prosperity of the world and live good, upright lives. I acknowledge. Praise Jah, Rastafari. I also want to acknowledge that great African superior who attended here to promote the idea of African unity here in the sixth region, if you like. Yeah, those Africans, historic Africans in particular, yeah, who are under the banner of pan-Africanism. In other words, African unity. Yes, African unity. If this is not idle words, to come together under a treaty, a common treaty of understanding. Okay, for the Pan-African Treaty of the Sixth Region diaspora is an attempt to bring together like-minded Pan-Africanists under a single banner, a coherent, united voice. Why is that important? Because if you're going to make meaningful impressions, both in your families, in your neighborhoods, in your wider communities, in your nations, in unity is strength. It's common sense, really. Why there should be any discussion as to whether or not the Pan-African Treaty of the Sixth Region is a discussion point, the mind boggles. But we understand why it happens on some occasions. Okay. I'm going to steal a few minutes, if I may, just before the main interview, to review very quickly the Pan-African Treaty of the Sixth Region diaspora. Okay. I'll spend a few minutes just before the main interview to watch this space. And lastly, before I get into the all-important lifestyle messages section, I want to give my thumbs up to African Americans, those Americans in Africa, okay, and those that will come on this show, yeah. But I'll give a good praise to Stephen, of course, yeah, an intellect par excellence, okay, was able to provide a commentary on the 47th President of United States and his intent and the failing economy. Its intent is clear, but the failing economy is also clear. And as a result of his actions, direct actions, that Americans are now going to suffer economic toil and dismay. Well, what we need to do is to analyze it, to understand what's really going on, how it's impacting upon Americans, most certainly people of African ascent. So I would acknowledge that series of podcasts, so watch this space. I'll put more details about the last podcast and the future podcast in the commentary for this podcast so you can follow the trail, as it were. It is mission critical that we understand what is happening in United States of America. Why? Because it is a principal country in the world, a country founded upon enslavement of African peoples. And the wealth that America enjoys right now is the blood and toil, the dismay and the brutalization, humiliation of African peoples. That is what is founded upon. And to date, those billionaires, forgive me, those trillionaires, yeah, have not paid a penny in reparations or indeed sought public atonement for their past actions. And as a result, there is a challenge, a spiritual challenge in that country, okay? It means that those who belong to that particular ethnic group responsible for the enslavement of African peoples feel an underlying guilt or have cut themselves off from their own emotion, their own spirit, and are hyper defensive and believe if you disadvantage someone who is non-white, non-Euro-Asian, somehow that benefit all Euro-Asian, all white people, when nothing could be further from the truth. You embed spiritual degradation. What does that mean? You will experience it. You will experience it. And once you experience it, you're conscious of it, you understand why atonement, yeah, why it is necessary to pay just reparations, and why it's absolutely crucial that we've got to help you to save you from yourselves. I'm afraid we are but one human family. I say again, we are but one human family. Many ethnicities, this is true, but one human family. Any human that dies as a result of neglect is a collective responsibility to mend. Oh yeah, oh yeah. If all human beings could assert those words and actualize those words into their actions, our species, the human race, would be elevated. Praise Jah. Hey, Rastafari. It is necessary process though. We're going through societal evolution. Okay, we are maturing as a species, and that maturity involves empathy, caring for one another, not your little ethnic group, but caring for all human beings. Because we're all responsible for each other. We're all responsible for each other. And lastly, I want to, of course, give praise and thumbs up to the paramount chief of the Traore people in Namibia and their campaign for reparations from the German government. Honor and respect to you, paramount chief. Honor and respect to you. And those of you who wish to give support to the paramount chief and his people's effort to secure just reparations from the German people, I ask you to reach out to them. Reach out to them. Why not? Reach out to them. And in doing so, I'm assuring you, you will be rewarded 1,000,000 times over. Yeah, at that spiritual level. Yeah, you'll be rewarded 1,000,000 times over. If in doubt, ask questions. I say again, if in doubt, ask questions. I'll put it on the screen. There we go. Paramount's chief contact details. There you go. Put it on the screen. There you are. Great man. He was here on the Motivator show, only a few shows away. There you go. Wish to reach out and support the Traore people in their effort to secure just reparations from the German people. This was the first genocide of the 20th century. Yeah, not the one that you believe in Germany. No, this was the first genocide. More than 80% of the Traore people in Namibia were murdered, pillaged, their properties pillaged by the German people. Anyway, here we go. On the screen, you see it. To support the campaign, email address, it's mkatjiua@gmail.com. Or indeed, you can find him via Twitter or X, whatever you call it these days. It is KATJIUAMANGANI. I urge you to support the campaign. I urge you to support the campaign. There you go. I urge you to support that campaign. The first genocide of the 20th century, not talked about in common parlance, particularly amongst the Euro-Asian communities. Note, okay? But the impact on the Traore people has been fundamental. Fundamental. It is a scar, a wound that's yet to fully heal. I want to give my praise and respect again to the paramount chief. And thank you, sir. Thank you for your presence here. Thank you. All right, there you are. Those were a few announcements. There are others to come, and I will return to the issue of the Pan-African Treaty. Why is that? Because it's a critical step forward and encouraging people around the world. You don't have to be African, I might add. You don't have to be African. You simply have to have a conscience. Yeah. You simply have to have a conscience, a brain, yeah, compassion. That's all you need. That's all you need. That's all you need. We'll get on to that soon. But I now need to move on to the next segment, which is a regular segment. A segment we included because far too many people, you don't have to be African, I might add, yeah, of African descent, I might add, die before their time. I'm told by an expert that a child born today, with all the advances that we've made in both in medical and scientific terms, should live for 200 years. Yes, it is true, for 200 years, because of all the support and the awareness we now have. But currently, far too many people currently are dying because of our lifestyle. A lack of awareness about what we eat, what we do, and its impact on our life expectancy, our morbidity, in other words, the number of illnesses that we gain over our lifetime. And they have a cumulative impact in weighing us down and reducing our lifespans. But we can do better. It is a public obligation on my part to spend a few minutes to address our lifestyle. Our lifestyle determines the quality of life that we will endure. Okay? And after this, In approximately 25 minutes, we'll have our main interview. But I want you to pay close attention to these lifestyle messages. Because, like you, I choose a healthy lifestyle. The Motivator Show, the internet's most inspirational podcast. Every Saturday morning from 8 to 10 a.m. I choose a healthy lifestyle. I will relax, when possible attend a spa. I will eat healthy food and drink appropriate amount of water each day. I will exercise and maintain fitness. I will not be afraid of doctors and seek out medical examination when I need it. I will promote good mental health because it's important to me. I deserve to be happy. London is United Kingdom's capital city. It is amongst the most cosmopolitan in the world. It possesses all possible extremes, including in wealth, cultural and religious diversities. The main causes of illness and premature death in London, like the rest of the United Kingdom, are coronary heart disease, strokes, cancers and respiratory diseases. Other key health challenges in London include tuberculosis, issues relating to sexual health including HIV/AIDS, mental health and drug and alcohol misuse. It is likely that these issues and diabetes and obesity will continue to be priorities over the next 10 years. As London's diverse population increases, there's also likely to be an increase in diseases which are more prevalent in some Black and ethnic minority communities, such as high blood pressure and renal diseases. I choose a healthy lifestyle. I will relax, when possible attend a spa. I will eat healthy food and drink appropriate amount of water each day. I will exercise and maintain fitness. I will not be afraid of doctors and seek out medical examination when I need it. I will promote good mental health because it's important to me. I deserve to be happy. London currently has high levels of health inequalities with unacceptable variations in infant mortality and life expectancy across the capital. Tackling these issues is likely to remain a key challenge over the next 10 years. London is United Kingdom's capital city. It is amongst the most cosmopolitan in the world. It possesses all possible extremes, including in wealth, cultural and religious diversities. The causes of health inequalities are similar to those that determine health in general, including, for example, housing conditions, employment opportunities, environmental factors such as pollution, the amount of exercise undertaken, one's diet and smoking, and access to health services. I choose a healthy lifestyle. I will relax, and when possible attend a spa. I will eat healthy food and drink appropriate amount of water each day. I will exercise and maintain fitness. I will not be afraid of doctors and seek out medical examination when I need it. I will promote good mental health because it's important to me. I deserve to be happy. Public health priorities. Life expectancy is stalling and health inequalities are widening. After a century of increases, the decades prior to COVID-19 pandemic saw improvement in life expectancy amongst the UK population stall. For some, these improvements went into reverse. Between 2010 and 2012 and 2016 and 2018, life expectancy among women living in the most deprived 10% of areas of England fell, with the largest increases in the northeast. The diseases now most prevalent within the communities include diabetes, high blood pressure, heart conditions, cardiovascular diseases, lung diseases, cancers, and obesity. London is United Kingdom's capital city. It is amongst the most cosmopolitan in the world. It possesses all possible extremes, including in wealth, cultural and religious diversities. Professor Kevin Fenton, CBE. Kevin Fenton is the president of the Faculty of Public Health. He's also a senior public health expert and infectious disease epidemiologist who has worked in a variety of public health executive leadership roles across government and academia in the United Kingdom and internationally. His specialist interests are in tackling health inequalities, infectious disease prevention and control, climate justice, and urban health. Professor Fenton is the Regional Director for London in the Office for Health Improvement and Disparities within the Department of Health and Social Care. Within this role, he's also the Statutory Public Health Advisor to the Mayor of London and the Greater London Authority, and the Regional Director of Public Health for NHS London. He is also the Government Chief Advisor on HIV and Chair of the HIV Action Plan Implementation Steering Group for England. Professor Kevin Fenton says, I'm a public health director. Here are 5 things you can do to improve your health. 1. Mindful and balanced eating. Nourish wisely. Eat whole, balanced meals with awareness to support energy and well-being. 2. Get outside. Be with nature. Time outside reduces stress, improves mood, and strengthens your connection to the world. 3. Stay curious, stay engaged, explore new interests, keep your mind sharp, build social contacts, and boost your happiness. 4. Get active, move it or lose it. Move daily, lift weight, and do cardio. Exercise, improve physical, mental, mood, and energy. 5. Prioritize rest and sleep. Disconnect, rest. Quality sleep supports mental clarity, emotional balance, and overall health. I choose a healthy lifestyle. I will relax, and when possible, attend a spa. I will eat healthy food and drink appropriate amount of water each day. I will exercise and maintain fitness. I will not be afraid of doctors and seek out medical examination when I need it. I will promote good mental health because it's important to me. I deserve to be happy. Traditional medicine. There you go. You deserve to be happy. Those messages are intended to provide advice and guidance to you. Yeah? You don't need to be weighed down by these illnesses. We just got to be conscious of what we eat and what we do and how we contribute to maintaining a healthy lifestyle. I see in the chat positive feedback to this, but what I'm heartened by is the numbers of you who've responded to these messages. Up and down of Britain, people coming together in common aim and common purpose, regardless of their ethnicity, regardless of their religious affiliation, regardless of their social standard or education, come together in common aim and common purpose, recognizing our health is indeed our highest wealth. What I'm heartened by are those actions, direct actions, people pooling their resources and working together, in many cases for the very first time. It is fantastic to behold. Fantastic to behold. Your wealth is your highest wealth. And in doing so, you enhance yourself, your family, your communities, your neighborhood. Indeed, you transform society. Collaborative working is the only way forward. If you want to go fast, yeah, you can do it by yourself, not a problem. But if you want to go far, we do it together. It's sustainable because we're all supporting each other. When we're feeling a little weak, we're really tired, others will pick you up and you move forward even faster. Yes, that is collaborative working in essence. And that's what makes us as human beings such a powerful species here on the earth. I'm going to show an example of a group of people who come together here in South London, where I'm based, in common aim and common purpose, recognizing that their health is truly their wealth. They're called Countdown, and they continue to grow. I was there only a few days ago, and I'm amazed at the progress they've made. They're attracting people. They're like a magnet. People take an interest in their health because they're working together. There's no shame. There's no shade here. Yep. There's no judgment. It's simply a common understanding. Working together will promote our collective interest. So watch this video. It's only a few minutes. I want you to watch some exercising. And if this not happening in your immediate neighborhood, in your community, in your region, ask the question why. But you've got to be the change makers. You are the change makers. Hey, watch this.
Cheese. Famous. Hello, 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 hello.
You see those children running around? I love seeing children. Oh, yeah, there you go. Look at them.
You get one life only.
They're observing, they're playing, observing their mums and dads. Yeah? Their guardians and aunties and uncles. Oh, and maybe a few grandparents there as well. All exercise together. In unison. In unity is strength. Yeah. Notice how we're quite big? No judgment here. They're taking direct action. Hold on, lead the way. And these numbers have grown significantly since this record was made. Look at this, no shade. Exercise together, pool their resources. They are making the difference. In their own lives, their families' lives, in society,
the food where you feel for it's not for eat that fine la power you like na for buy and tie and if you baby love you back love them but if you love them more now you not for left want them more cause nobody know waiting tomorrow old so every day of my life till old I fasting enjoyment stay go I fall and for care for yourself nobody love you past yourself all the man they fed for
I'm tired, it's okay. But you know, if you exercise with other people, like-minded people, when you get tired, they lift you up, help you to continue. Oh, it's so good. Are you doing this? Look at the boy there. Look at the girl, yes. The children are learning, they're observing. Regardless of your religious affiliation, we can come together. Regardless of your social standing, we can come together. Regardless of your education, we can come together. Common aim and common purpose. Oh yeah. They're enjoying themselves. This is exercising, you enjoy yourself. This is not about pain. This is not about pain. Our pleasure. Because we're doing it together. Oh yeah.
You meet up woman where you let
Oh, look, I'm dancing. I'm sitting on a chair. I'm dancing.
If you let me man, I for keep on.
Come on, you need to get you up.
You feel for it, some for it.
Get those bodies.
And
you don't have one of these in your neighborhood. Simple enough. Speak to your neighbors. Yeah, speak to your neighbors. Why don't we exercise together? We start off small, but it will grow.
Cause nobody know what's tomorrow.
Fantastic,
So every day of my life, yeah, all a fasting enjoyment, stay go.
These messages are so important for you. Exercise together. Think about what you eat. Think about your mental outlook. You heard what the professor said. Yeah, you heard Professor Fenton. Oh yeah. He's dedicated his life to helping people to make good decisions for themselves. Well done, well done. Look at these wonderful people. Exercise together. It's no longer a burden because you're doing it together. And together, we will go far. Oh, let me pause there. Yeah, I'm dancing. Yes, it's true. I am dancing. Together, we can make the difference. Yeah, together, we can make the difference. And if you live here in South London, yeah, and you want to contact and be a part of the Countdown exercise group, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put their details on the screen for you. If you're in South London or you're visiting South London, okay, why not visit them? Yeah, let me put it on the screen for you. Here we go. There's the contact details. Their contact details. There you go. So they're there every Monday and Wednesday from 6:30 to 8 p.m. There you go. They're based at 12 Tatum Street, Tatum Street. That's in London. And postcode S for Sugar, E for Edward, 17, 1T for Tongo, and N for Nigeria. Okay, that's the postcode. Email, we can reach out to them. It's countdown, COUNTDOWN 0405 @gmail.com. And there's an email, a mobile number for you. If, of course, in the UK, it's 07960 803 588. I commend these groups of people who've come together in common aim and common purpose for no other purpose than to maintain good, healthy lifestyle. Oh yeah, we are saving lives there. I know we have saved lives here. It is a critical mission for this podcast to save lives, to enhance lives, to provide good quality information that has been verified. You could see in the public domain, it's verifiable information. It's, in some places, you enter an echo chamber and all information filtered through a quite noxious filter. Here, it is unfiltered. You receive information from the source, verifiable sources. And in doing so, you can raise your confidence that the Motivator Show will not share information that is not uncooperated. Okay? But much of what you've seen is just common sense information. I get it. I know it's a typical thing, particularly if you're thinking by yourself. I get it. But together, I assert, we can make the difference. Together, I assert, you can make the difference. Yes, affirmation. All righty, I'm now going to start to prepare for the interview, okay? The Burkina Faso interview, okay? We have a number of important guests that will arrive in our virtual studio, okay? And when they arrive, okay, I'll bring them into the studio, okay? But I just want to play a small part of our intro video to prepare the way. I want you to watch and listen keenly to what is said by His Excellency President Ibrahim Traoré. Listen keenly. Marching for His Excellency President Ibrahim Traoré. Listen to His Excellency President Ibrahim Traoré's wise words to the people and the world.
Our country has long been in a very complicated system. Most of you who are young like me, we were born into this system. But that's not what can allow Burkina to thrive. Because in this situation, there are only two cases. Either we accept to fight, or we remain slaves forever. I told you once, there are those who are slaves in their minds. They can only serve their master. And those people try every time to manipulate you. You must advise each other. Because every situation can be exploited by these enemies of the nation to try to discourage you, to demotivate you. So, you must advise each other and not pay attention to certain remarks, even on some media. Not everyone is obliged to be patriotic. You are the first patriots. You have decided to defend the homeland. There is nothing better than that. Those who want to support you, let them support you. Those who want to discourage you through writings, you must close your ears and move forward. As for those, we will fight them here. So, we must remember something. Recently, there is a so-called NGO. It's not even an NGO. Because NGO stands for non-governmental organization. They are not non-governmental because they are funded by a federal budget, by a state. This so-called NGO produces reports claiming that the FDS and the VDP commit abuses. It went in here, it came out there. It's to tarnish your morale. It's to scare you, to prevent you from being able to fight. No. Moreover, we are going to file a complaint against this NGO because people need to understand something. What is happening to us here? It's true that they have manipulated part of our populations in the Sahel here, but they didn't have that kind of weaponry. What brought such significant weaponry into their ranks? It's Libya. Who destroyed Libya? It's this NGO, the same NGO that made false reports and gave them to those who wanted to create a rebellion so that people would intervene and overthrow Gaddafi. And the powder keg ended up being poured into the Sahel. These millions of lives that have been taken in the Sahel, we must file a complaint against this NGO because it is responsible for these false reports it made to support this thesis of attacking Libya. They have no moral lessons to give us. Look at the world. Let them go defend human rights all over the world first before coming here. We are fortunate to have similar situations. In this world, you voluntarily committed yourselves. There are countries where people are forcibly taken, killed. You leave or you die. Others, even while trying to flee, end up dying. They don't talk about human rights because these people see us as subhumans. They see us as slaves. That's how it is in their minds. They have never changed their mindset, but it's up to us to show them that we are not slaves and we will never accept this state of affairs. So don't be fooled by the stories. They tell to anyone who will listen. You must stay focused on your fight. Stay focused. We know what we are doing. And even now, the VTP commander told me that there is a human rights training session underway for group leaders and their deputies. If we make efforts, we know it's for ourselves. We no longer do things to please someone else. We do it for our homeland. And you are committed to that. Defend your homeland. Do not listen to those individuals. They should not affect your morale. In the history of the world, there have been wars. And during the Second World War, people organized themselves to defend all over the place. But there is a country that could not defend itself. which had to come and take our ancestors to go defend them. And today that same country wants to give us lessons. The pot calling the kettle black. No. You are the descendants of those same ancestors who went to defend others, who liberated the world from Nazism. Today you are fighting for your lands. These same individuals dare to create terms to tarnish you. We oppose this. We will never agree. Continue to defend your lands. It is your wealth that interests these people. It's our gold, it's our minerals that interest them. Otherwise, why come and drive out entire villages to seize our lands? So we will fight and we will reclaim our lands, our wealth. It belongs to us. It's for us. It will benefit us and our children. I therefore encourage you to remember that this war is to free us from slavery. It's for our independence. And you must keep your spirits high, stay strong. Never give in to manipulators, to those individuals who no longer understand the notion of homeland, or to those people who come from outside to try to subdue us through their terms they invented and their organizations they created to enslave us. Fight, move forward, do everything you can. Draw, as I said, from your cultural resources, from what you have been shaped by since the village. Draw from it and wage this war. Stay focused and stay strong.
Global Solidarity March. Those were the words of the great man, His Excellency, President Ibrahim Traoré. Absolutely right. Every word one can relate to. Every word. Okay. And my guests are on time. African time. We're going to discuss that during this time. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. This will be an important engagement, an important interview. So I need you all to watch and listen keenly. Okay. I've got a number of pointed questions for my guest, necessary questions, but these questions are intended to provide good information to you to make sound decisions. Okay. I'm going to bring my guest into the studio now. Let's see if let's hope it works first time. That would be nice, wouldn't it? There we go. Let's bring him in now. First one. Excellent. My first guest has arrived, and the great man's in the background. Let me bring my second guest into the studio. Let's hope that works as well. Brilliant. It had worked first time. Good morning to you both. Am I being heard well? Am I being heard well?
Good morning. Yes, I can hear you very well.
Excellent, excellent. And of course, my regular guest, Wampande, Alan, can you hear us well? Can you hear us well? Oh, Alan, can you hear us well? Oh, one is not quite there. All right. Can you hear us, Alan? No, he cannot hear us well. Okay. This is live, of course, people. This is live. And in the re-edited version of this podcast, it will be perfect. Can you hear us now, Alan? Pointing to you, Alan. No, he cannot hear us. What I'm going to do, I'm going to take him out of the stream and let him come back in again. He will need to give, I suspect, permissions to his audio. Alan, can you hear us now? No, he cannot hear us. Okay, I'm going to take him out the stream for the moment. And let's see if I can get a message to him. There we go. Can you hear us? Alan, can you hear us? No? Okay. All right, never mind. I'll take him out the stream for the moment. And he will return, I know, momentarily. But can I start with yourself, sir? Okay, can I start with yourself? Okay. And what's important that this is the first time you have joined us here on the Motivator Show. Okay. He's returned. Let's see if we can bring him in. Can you hear us now, Alan? No, he still cannot hear us. All right. Well, whilst you're talking, I'll send messages to him. Don't you worry. We'll keep him there for the moment. I want to first of all thank you for agreeing to be a part of this podcast. And the significance of your presence here today is that, for the most part, many of us here in the historic diaspora very rarely hear firsthand from senior members from the Traore government administration. Okay, and I'm going to introduce you initially, but I'm going to ask you some other poignant questions, which I hope is right. Okay, and I believe I pronounce your first name Gaetan. Is that correct? Godora? Is that correct?
Yes.
Thank you. And you've been recently appointed by His Excellency, the President of Burkina Faso, Ibrahim Traoré, that you are now in charge of diaspora mobilization. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Perfect. And I see in your CV that you have many interesting qualifications, that between 2013 to 2018, you were president of the Association of Burkina Faso in the Netherlands, or Holland, you might say. In 2018 to 2021, you were the CSBE delegate covering the Netherlands, Great Britain, and Luxembourg. In February 2024, you were the advisor to the President of Burkina Faso for economic recovery cooperations with the Netherlands. I believe I've got all that right.
Yeah.
Yes. Excellent. Thank you. But I'd like to ask you the first question, and you will smile at this question, but it's a question I've asked all of my guests from the continent, because if there's a tradition I recognize, is that names have meaning. Your name, what does it mean? I know Quadrato, because of course we did something on this one some time ago, but tell me, what is the meaning of your names, please? Just share that with us so we get to know you better. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you very much. First of all, I would like to thank you again for inviting me on the Motivator show. And also I thank all the people who are listening to us right now. And I want also to ask in advance to to forgive me if my English is not such a great for the people to understand, but I'm happy that my brother is also present, so he can help me if I get stuck in my English.
It will be our pleasure. Go ahead.
So that said, my name Ouagadougou, Ouagadougou means actually main horse. That is the founder of the Morsi empire, the Morsi kingdom, so to speak. And also his name was Ouagadougou, and that name come from the horse of his mother, the Princess Nyenenga, who used a lot this horse to fight, to go to the battles. So the name Ouagadougou has came from this.
Wow, powerful! You have a lot to live up to.
Sorry.
You have a great deal to achieve to honor those names. Yes?
Yes.
I hear you. But my parents named me after a figure you will recognize, and that, of course, my middle name is Luther. So my name is Martin Luther, and my surname is not King, but my dad was very clear what he expected of me also. Yes? Okay. It is well. Now, I wonder if Alain can hear us now. He's still not hearing us yet. I know he's working on this. He's still working on this, but it is well. But we want to press on with you because there are many who want to hear from you. Okay. Now, My first question is an obvious question, at least from our perspective, a part of the historic diaspora of Africans who look to Africa as ultimately our home. Okay. But there's much for us to discuss on the continent. Okay. But there are particular personalities who match the personalities here in the diaspora who are committed to the advancement of African peoples. Okay.
Yeah.
My first question to you: how has the legacy of Thomas Sankara impacted the leadership of His Excellency President Ibrahim Traoré? Tell us, how has that legacy impacted?
That is a great question. If we look at what is currently happening in Burkina Faso right now with His Excellency President Ibrahim Traoré, we can say that President Ibrahim Traoré has taken, the stick of the revolution where Thomas Sankara has left it. So the legacy of Thomas Sankara has a great impact on the leadership of President Ibrahim Traoré in such a way that all the actions that are right now going on come a little bit from what Thomas Sankara has also stated as ideology for developing Africa, such as, for example, you have to consume what you produce, you have to produce what you consume, and that is what President Ibrahim Traoré is now doing through many of activities in agriculture and in other sectors. So we can say that the legacy of Thomas Sankara has a real impact on his leadership.
Thank you. In other words, it is foundational. It is the basis upon the leadership is continuing forward. I understand. And that is a fantastic legacy, isn't it? You should be immensely proud to have had such a leader, such as Thomas Sankara. What did he mean to you?
Yes.
What did he mean to you?
Yes, it is a fantastic legacy because, the main key here is the revolution, is the real change that this ideology is willing to bring for Burkina Faso and for all Africa. Because really the contexts are not the same. In the time of Sankara, Thomas Sankara, and the time of Ibrahim Traoré, the contexts are different. But the main ideology remain the same because they all want to build a people, to build people that are reliable, people that can trust on themselves, people that are willing to fight to free their country, people that are willing to fight to get a real independence through real action on using their own strength and to use on their own resources to build the country, and that is why we can say that we are now in a second kind of revolution, and this is this revolution has to be very popular, and it is. And it is a progressive revolution, that means that the idea is not to isolate the country from the rest of the world. No, the idea is to bring positive change in people while we keep dealing with countries that recognize our freedom, that are also ready to deal with Burkina Faso in win-win situation. So this revolution is really going on, and the people in Burkina Faso are getting involved freely. So it is amazing what we are experiencing right now in Burkina Faso with Captain Ibrahim Traoré.
That's recognised, and I absolutely recognise it. And some of the additional details I'll come back to soon. Can I just check if we're not? If Anna, I'm not sure if you can hear us at the moment.
Yes, I can hear you. Yes.
Oh.
Can you hear me?
Success.
Morning, all.
Okay. First of all, welcome. Okay, welcome. Okay, whatever was going on there, but it is well. And it's good to see you again. You look younger.
Oh, always. Yes. Thank you. Yes,
and I have to say that
yes, we're going to control that with Moringa.
Okay, all right. And I have to say that I look upon you, I'm reminded of the strength of the African genes, you know? As we get older, we still look young, you know? There you are. That's a powerful message to us, a very powerful message. And we've just started this interview, and it's been interesting to hear the impact of Thomas Sankara on the consciousness of the Burkina people, the people of Burkina Faso. Okay. Can we ask you the same question? How has he impacted your life as Thomas Sankara? How has he changed your consciousness and your conviction to uphold the expectations, the aspirations of that glorious leader? Okay. Tell us, how has he impacted you and yourself? And you may want to introduce yourself as you go on. Yeah. Yes, of course.
Thank you. Yes, my name is Wempanga Compaore. I'm the delegate of the community in the UK here. So, thank you very much for inviting me.
Pleasure.
Yes, going back to your question, Thomas Sankara is, I will say that he was responsible of our awakening. So he lead us in the way that we realized that we could do better. So Thomas Sankara, his ambition was noble. So he taught us that what was once impossible is something that now we can consider as doable.
Absolutely.
So he taught us that our fight is for a long strategy. He taught us that we as African, we can do it ourselves.
Yes.
We can produce what we want. We can consume what we're producing.
Yes.
And overall, we can rely on ourselves.
Yes.
So
absolutely,
and that's an awakening. So it's like a spiritual guide that just come with a good philosophy that allow you to sustain yourself without needing to go back to a master or needing to go back to a ruler to be free. So Thomas Sankara showed us that we should all be happy to sacrifice ourselves for the next generation. So the list is long, but we could say that Thomas Sankara was like the morning star of Burkina Faso, the morning star of the whole black race. Yes. Just to sum it up, I will say yes.
From the land of the upright men.
Yes.
Absolutely.
From the land of the upright men. Yes. Thank you.
The incorruptible men. Yes. Let's say that with affirmation.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Absolutely. We do this for our children and our children's children. We will sacrifice whatever it takes for our children and our children's children. Praise Jah, Rastafari. Thank you for that. But I must ask you both a more pointed question, and forgive my directness.
Okay.
And this is a serious one, because I've been challenged out there in the wider diaspora on this particular question, and I know you will receive this in the atmosphere of friendship. So forgive my directness.
Yes.
His Excellency Ibrahim Traoré, simply a military dictator who deposed his predecessors and is now imposing his will on the people, or has he gained legitimacy by consulting with the Burkina people and the traditional leadership to secure, I understand, a 5-year mandate? Not you, Alan. I want to go back to Gertrude first of all. That's the question I'm challenged by. Is he simply a military dictator, or has he now gained legitimacy and endorsement from the traditional leadership for an additional 5-year mandate? Please, can you respond to that question? Get him, yes.
Well, can I?
Yes, please, yes.
To address this question, I can right now say that President Ibrahim Traoré is absolutely not a dictator, because, if you are in Burkina Faso now, you can see it. You can see that his power has been given to him by the people, and his power has been made legitimate by the people through what we called a session that gathered all people of all level of the society to come together and to decide what to do with him. And then they give him 5 years to freely rule this country. So we believe that this power comes from people, So, and also right now we have the justice, the justice is running. We have the parliament is working, and also all institutions that can be in a normal country as right now running very good. So we can say that in Burkina Faso, this what is now happening has nothing to do with dictatorship. And also you can see beyond Burkina Faso, he gets support everywhere, freely. No one is forced to support President Ibrahim Traoré, but people just come by themselves to support him, to say, hey, what you are doing for Burkina Faso is great. What you are doing for Burkina Faso, we want also to be part of. That is why you can also see what happened last time when the General Langley has made such a nonsense declaration about Burkina Faso. Overall in the world, we just see a sudden movement that took place everywhere to support Burkina Faso and particularly his president Ibrahim Traoré. So I don't believe that a dictator can can get such freely support. So I think it is just a power of the people, and he's just doing what is right for his country. He's just trying to free the country. He's just trying to make the.
Forgive me for interrupting, and as I said, forgive my pointedness because we want to get past this particular question. Because those in the diaspora are, of course, subjected to intense negative propaganda about Africa and, of course, about Burkina Faso. Okay, so we need to help them to get over that hump because they've made a conscious decision to watch this video because they're clearly on that verge. They're ready to absorb. So I just want to make sure we cover the points, and I take all what you've described, but I want to do this properly. But I want to make sure that henceforth, following this interview, this question is no longer a question. So I did want to make sure. So Thomas Sankara, the inspired leader, was assassinated by forces we can suspect. Who succeeded Thomas Sankara, and how long was that person in power? First of all, my first question. Can you respond to Gaten? Please respond to that question. Who was the president after Thomas Sankara? Yes.
After Thomas Sankara, it was President Blaise Compaoré, and he stayed at power about 27 years before before he was taken.
That's right. So he was in power for, gosh, for many people listening to this, a lifetime, 27 years.
Yes.
At any point, did the Americans, or indeed the Euro-Asians here where I am, okay, express any concern about the governance of Burkina Faso during that period? Can you recall?
No, not at all. And this is a very good question, because we think they should have at that time do something, but not now. So that is why what is now being stated by the general is for us absolutely irresponsible.
Okay.
So
we're dealing with it. Don't worry. We are addressing the general directly, but I'm assuring you, either he or his aides are watching this podcast. Okay. So my follow-up question is that during the period in which President Traoré was in power, tell us about the military and security situation within Burkina Faso. Were you safer during his reign? Were you safer for those 27 years than you are now?
like I said to you, I used to live in the Netherlands for more than 20 years, so I just came back in the country in about 4 years, and I am really happy to be able, right now to fulfill this role that His Excellency President Ibrahim Traoré has given to me, and to tackle the situation of our diaspora. And right now in Burkina Faso, we are focused on what is going on now. We are focused to help, to give our support to our president so that he can build the country, a prosperous country, a free country for everyone. So
Thank you for that. Thank you. It's okay. And we're getting there. We just got to do this in bite-sized chunks, in phases that the entire audience, we could take them with us. So we're very clear now that the 27 years during that period, there was no growth. There was an untangling of the gains, the achievements of Post-Sankara. And there was no complaint from the Americans here in Europe or other places about this man's reign, despite the fact the country was actually becoming poorer and was less secure. Now, at the end of the 27 years, just before Captain Ibrahim Traoré took control, who took over after Compaoré? Who took over? And why did that person take control? Can you recall?
After Compaoré, there was a kind of insurrection. People were upset about what was happening in Burkina Faso, and even abroad. I was in the diaspora, but we also expressed ourselves to say that we were not agree, and so we also helped to people so that the insurrection can be done, so that President Compaoré can be kick it out. And when that is done, so there was a kind of transition to organize elections, and after that transition, President Traoré came in power, and he was elected for 5 years, and after the 5 years, he was elected again, and but he didn't finish this second mandate because he was again put down by the people, and after that came President Ibrahim Traoré to really free the country, to really bring what the people really need. That is why now everyone in Burkina Faso is supporting him, because we see what he's doing. Like I said, he took the stick where Thomas Sankara has left it, but he even bring it more up, to concrete actions. Now he has launched what we called here the initiative présidentielles. Those initiatives are concrete action in many sectors that are now boosting all activities in those sectors, mainly in the agriculture, and
before you get onto that, I do want to make sure we take a logical series of steps so that the audience can fully appreciate how it is that we have what was an army captain who is now president of the country, and why his rule and his mandate is valid. Because President Ibrahim Traoré's first action was, of course, to take on those insurgents, the insecurity in the country. Okay, that was his first step. But of course, that insecurity created instability, and instability, of course, meant destitution for the people. Okay, so that was his first act. And I recognize that as part of our dialogue here on the Motivator Show, and identifying why he considered it to be important that he assert, for the benefit of all the people of the country, that he take control to secure the borders, and no longer would you live in this level of insecurity.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Perfect.
Yes.
But I need to ask. Yes. Go ahead.
Yes, beside all the development actions that are going now, of course, the main key in this is the security that President Ibrahim Traoré has brought back in the country. Because when he came on power, the country was almost lost.
That's right.
By terrorist attacks, or many villages was emptied. And people run into the main cities, and even from Ouagadougou, you could not go. Ouagadougou is the capital of Burkina Faso, and from Ouagadougou, you could not go further than 100 kilometers. I personally come from Ouagadougou, which is a city in the north. At that time, it was very difficult to go in those villages around this main city. But right now, we are really experiencing a real security in all the regions. People are going back to these villages. We can safely travel. So that is a main reason for the people to welcome him, because they see that he's taken a concrete action to fight against the insecurity. The forces, the defenses, have now the good materials to fight, the good weapons to fight. And you see even what we call VDP, Volontaires pour la Défense de la Patrie. These are people who get involved by voluntary. Yeah, and those people before, when the other regimes try to select people through this kind of mechanism, it was really slow. But with President Ibrahim Traoré, you see that many young people want to get involved, so that we have enough people to put in these forces. So regarding security, this is a huge progress, and it is now a question of time that Burkina will be again a totally free country, and we are looking forward to that.
So am I. So are we. So am I. So are we. Absolutely. I think you've dealt with all these sort of key questions, preliminary questions that I know the diaspora have raised as a query, concern. And we recognize that the process in Burkina Faso and the means by which he gained the power, but the legitimacy gained, is a result of his works, his delivery, substantive
Absolutely.
delivery. Yep. Okay, you understand. Good. I want to just take you on, because I'm just going to try and keep us to time, and I'll bring you back in, Alan, very soon. But I have to ask this other question, which comes up regularly. Okay, so let me make it quite clear, a declaration that I'm a pan-Africanist. I'll explain what that means in a moment. But let me just say, His Excellency, President Ibrahim Traoré, a pan-Africanist, does he support the vision of an African superstate, and thereby creating the African lion economy, akin to those you see in the Far East, those tiger economies, that we should have an African lion economy on the edge of technological revolution, social revolution, where there's good health services for all, good transport systems, excellent education systems for all. Does he believe in that lion economy, a pan-African superstate? Please,
Yes.
yes, go ahead, Alan. Yeah,
Okay,
go
yes.
ahead.
Oh, yes. Ibrahim Traoré is a Pan-Africanist. So,
Okay.
looking at his missions and looking at the way his diplomacy is working currently, you know that his diplomacy is focused on South-South, meaning that Burkina Faso collaborating with African countries, Burkina Faso collaborating with South countries. So Pan-African, yes, Pan-African, he is 100% Pan-African because of the way he wants Africa to be free. So he is talking of Africa for the Africans. So there is no more Pan-African than anybody, requesting that Africa should be ruled by Africans. African business should be run by Africans. Africans should consume Africans. So a Pan-African, I will say yes, he is Pan-African and he knows that alone we can't go further. But together we will go further. Alone we can go fast, but together we will go further. So that's what is happening with the Pan-Africanism he see should come in step. So, and those steps started already with AES community. You understand? The AES community, so it's a sign that Ibrahim doesn't see that the struggle is only a struggle for the Burkinabes. It's not only the struggle for one country, but it's a struggle for all countries. So I'm sure that if we have to ask him a question and have to ask him whether can other country come to join AES, they will say yes. So the AES is open to other African countries. So their mission is to take Africans in the hands of the rulers and give them back to the African themselves. However, the medium they are using now is different. They are not using the existing medium as ECOWAS and all. No, they're trying to bring new mediums because those existing mediums have proven to fail. They're proven to fail. So they've created the lack of trust between those mediums. For example, if you take the ECOWAS, who was like the small Pan-African organization in the West, it lost trust. There is no trust between the communities and there again. So going back to your question, yeah, Ibrahim is one of the first Pan-Africans. His ideology is based on Pan-African ideology. It's based on Thomas Sankara. It's based on Lumumba. It's based on all of those freedom fighters that fought for Africans. So I will say he's Pan-African. So
Thank you.
Yeah, we have to add that.
To add something on what is just been said, he's correct. Being Pan-Africanist doesn't mean a lot of words. It is through your actions that we recognize who is Pan-African. And indeed, we can see that all what President Ibrahim Traoré is doing is aligned with this philosophy of Pan-Africanism. And also you mentioned that a huge super Africa with a great economy. This is not I don't think this is a priority for them, for President Traoré, for President Assimi Goïta of Mali or of Niger. I think they came together to just start at a small level and to experience how this can be done. For them, I think what is important is what can unite them, the values that those countries are sharing together. That is more important to them than the number of the country. They need efficiency, they need homogeneity, they need also peace between these countries before that they can look to enlarge the community. So the IAS is now a great place to test this kind of new belief and new actions.
Thank you, and that's heartening to hear. And I say to the audience, the information shared, I can verify to be accurate. This is the Motivator Show. You only receive good quality, authentic information. So if you hear otherwise elsewhere, you've heard it here from a direct source. And it's clear that President Ibrahim Traoré is a Pan-African. He believes in the greater African dream. This is good. This is good. Could I stay with you, Curtin, because it's, of course, your recent appointment, okay, as the person in charge for diaspora mobilization. I want to ask this question to you, and I know you will receive it in the comradeship as is intended. There are more than 250 historic diaspora populations worldwide, and hopefully a good proportion of them are watching right now. Okay, what is your message to the dispossessed sons and daughters of Africa? Okay, and just to qualify it, in order for me, one of these dispossessed, this historic diaspora, to get a foothold, a link to the motherland of Africa, I had to go to an organization which you will recognize, AfricanAncestry.com, and have my genetic material profiled. Okay. And in doing so, I've now discovered that I'm 99.99 whatever percent it is, okay, directly ascended from Benin, the people of Benin. Wow. But I had to go to my genetics to find that out. Okay. Are you going to follow the, what are you going to do to support the dispossessed African population, more than 250 million sons and daughters of Africa? Are we a part of the equation that is the new Burkina Faso? Over to you, Greta.
Okay, to this question, I can say that what they need to do, this historic diaspora, is to try to keep the links between Africa and between the countries. And if they can identify a country that they think that this country is their mother country, that their homeland, that is perfect. But that is not the key point. Africa, you have to see Africa, all the African country as a whole. So for this particular historic diaspora, to them, the first thing is to try to keep the links between with Africa, either through friends, either through family, either through to works, or but this is a key point. Keep the links and try to do something for Africa, no matter in which country. Try to invest in Africa and try to help, because Africa need them nowadays as never before. And Africa has a huge potentiality. Africa is, to me, a continent of the future. So I can call to those historic Africans to turn back and have a look at Africa and try to do something.
Okay, I'm going to return to you in a moment, but if I can
add a bit there?
Yes, of course.
Yes, definitely. So Africa for the Africans. And if Africa is not free, black people won't be free anywhere they are.
Indeed.
So what can we do in that case? So we have to go back to our source. And it's true that we have places like African Ancestry that can help you to trace back where you are. But look at the bigger picture, to which we don't have to know what our DNA, because our DNA is telling us we are African just by looking at ourselves. And we have up to 52 countries to choose from. So that's that's a good choice. So my concern is like, are you ready to go back? So if you are ready to go back, and are you ready to join for the development of Africa? So let's make it happen. The diaspora is very important in the sense that they have links in both places. They have links where they are, and they have links back home. So they could play the role of a better bridge between Africa and the different other areas. But let's don't just say that Africa belongs to us. No, wherever we live, it belongs to us too. We have to make it happen. So meaning that we have to link the whole world to Africa. So to link it in the sense where Africa is able to decide for themselves. We are not deciding for, they are not deciding for Africa anymore. We decided for ourselves. And that's where we will get the respect. And wherever we are, we will see that everybody will want now to go back to Africa. So we need to do the first step. We need to say, all right, we are Africans. I am going back to Africa. However, to add to that, the welcoming country too should have some measure to facilitate that.
Okay, can I just, before you say that, I suppose I was going to follow on that with this question. Is Burkina Faso prepared to open its land by following Ghana's lead by initiating a year of return and offering citizenship to the historic diaspora for Africans? That's my follow-up to all of this, because I'm assuring you there are tens of millions of us out here waiting for Africa to call us back. Yep, and to give us a purpose. I'm assuring you, we're waiting for you. So we wish you to respond to that follow-up question first. Yes, go ahead.
You know, I know very well this example of Ghana, and I think it is a very good way for us to study and to take in consideration. But right now, the vision of President Ibrahim Traoré regarding our diaspora is to work and to give them opportunity to be able to take part of the construction or of the reconstruction, the building of the country now. So I think that is also the main reason why he now dedicated one of his special advisors to work specifically on the diaspora. What we are now doing, what we are now doing is to set up a roadmap. You know, we have to. This is all new, and before Burkina has tried many things with the diaspora, but it never works. So now we are trying to set a roadmap that will involve many actions for the diaspora, such as calling them to come back home, calling them to share their knowledge with people in Burkina, calling them to transfer all the experience that they have gained during those many years, and of course put also mechanism in place so that they can invest. Because a lot of diaspora people have money sitting in the banks in Burkina Faso doing nothing. So we want them to put all this money in movement so that the money can work in such a way that startups in Burkina Faso can benefit from this money, and in return they will also get benefits back from their money. So we are now really brainstorming with everyone, with people in the diaspora, because we believe that to be able to find a good solution for them, we have to involve them in the thinking process so that we can find a suitable solution for them. So, but this is the main idea of what is going right now for our diaspora. So I think the example of Ghana is a very good, and we have that also in our tools. We will try to see if we can integrate it in our strategy for our diaspora. Of course, by adapting it to the realities of the Burkinabe diaspora.
Thank you.
I will add a bit there.
Of course, yes.
So you took the example of Ghana and the example of Benin. So indeed, I can assure you that in Ghana and in Benin, the diaspora has been knocking the door since at least already 25 years. 25 years ago, people already started going benevolently, voluntarily back to Ghana, knocking doors, investing in Eburi, investing in Accra, people buying land. Like 25 years up to now, people were. But Burkina Faso, people were not coming a lot. So now that we've started knocking the door, I'm sure that if we keep on knocking on the door, I'm sure Ibrahim will hear at the top there. If we keep on going there, if we keep on mobilizing ourselves to go to Burkina Faso, using the existing means, Ibrahim will finally find that, oh, look at the numbers are increasing. People are coming. People love my country. Look at how they're representing me there and there. So it's going to be that the doors will be open. So it's not a one-way thing. It's not only that the government can decide, all right, we are opening the border to everybody to come. How about if they're not coming? So that's what we are trying to do now. We are saying that let's plan trips. Let's go together. Let's organize like a trip of 100 people. Let's go to discover it first. You understand? So if we love it, if we are 100, diaspora will go there this year, at the end of this year. And then we do some activity, we support. And then they see that, oh, yes, the diaspora is interested. That's where now advisors like Wenpanga can start going with business cases and say, all right, you've seen the number coming. People are knocking the door. We have no choice, but we have to open it. We have to open it. That's where he brings fact. He will bring fact. So, I mean that Ghana and Benin, people were more interested in going to Ghana and Benin recently. That's why the direct consequence was like open the doors to the diaspora, open the door to people coming back. You understand? So, so if people are interested in coming back in Burkina Faso, it have to be seen on the numbers. We have to see them coming. We have to see them organizing to come. So if we are 100 there, I'm sure that I'm not going to talk up for Wenpanga, but I'm sure that if we are 100 now, saying that we want to go to Burkina Faso, he will step in to guide us or make it easier for us to go than but if it's just an individual going there and there. So we need to be a collective organization. Yes,
I have to ask a question though. I have to ask a question, and this, you both may laugh at this question, but I've got to ask it to make sure it is fact. So how will Burkina Faso free itself from France if the CFA franc remains the currency? For example, are you still sending back 50% of the nation's treasury back to Paris, and then they give you back the money on loan, for example? Are you still suffering that humiliation? Who wishes to respond to that question? Because it's, I find it astonishing that any country could have accepted such terms. Is Burkina Faso still subjected to that embarrassment, that national humiliation? Who wishes to answer that question? Oh, okay.
Unfortunately, we are still using the currency. I will say unfortunately, because if it's ideally what the people need, I will say that the people already need a new currency.
Oh, we've lost him. Oh, we lost him. Okay, it'll come back. It'll come back. We definitely need a new currency. That's right.
We definitely need it. But as you know, currencies, they take process. Currencies cannot be created within a year or 2 or 3 or something like that. The currencies, the process of getting a good currency takes time. But I haven't been informed that, you know, the new leadership is working toward a new currency, but I am 100% sure that it's one of the ambitions. Right. It's one of the ambitions. And, you know, the currency, we are rooted to the level where we cannot just come out of it like that without a backing plan. Yes, and so I will take you the same case with Scotland here in the UK, where Scotland wanted to take the independence, and then there was waiving the currency. Oh, where are you going? What are you going to use? You understand? So a currency need to be planned, and I'm sure that with with Ibrahim taking over the gold mines, Astami taking over the gold mines and the minerals and all of those, it is a way toward a new currency coming. Brilliant. And it won't be the CFA again, it's going to be a powerful one. Okay, so but I'm not, I don't have, I can't give you when, but I am sure that in our lifetime or within a couple of years, we will see a new currency growing in the west coast of Africa.
Brilliant, brilliant, because it is a humiliation. The French are humiliating African countries, requiring that 50% of the entire treasury effectively is being controlled by Paris, and they only give back the money on the basis of a loan. Can you imagine? Their own money. Yeah, these are rich. These are countries rich in mineral, but yet the people are so abjectly poor. This is another form of colonialism by the French.
Yes.
How on earth? Yes, go ahead. Sorry. Yes.
Again, it's knowledge is the key. Knowledge is the key. You know, all of those things were hidden to the public for ages. It is recently that the Pan-Africans and our economists are trying to show to the public the reality behind the currency. Right. So I've been living there for more than 20 years, but I didn't know that currency was linked to big problems like that. It's a recent thing. So knowledge is the key in every fight. Don't let people devise your currency for you. Don't let people devise your education for you. Don't let people devise your health system for you. Don't let people devise your agricultural system for you. So, but that's what our forefathers have done. They let them devise a currency for them without even understanding the implication of it. It took them 100 years to realize that it was a scheme that is a scam.
Yes, a scam. So, well said. It is a scam. Yeah, it is a scam.
It is a scam. It is a scam. Yes. So we need now to. That's why we need the diaspora. We need ideas. We need ideas. Instead of even going to create a new currency, we can opt out creating a new cryptocurrency.
Yes.
And we can create a cryptocurrency that will cover the whole Africa, because it's the rise of cryptocurrency. So definitely, currency is on the program. Currency is in the agenda. Currency must come.
Yes.
Okay. Either one or it's a local currency that is coming. Currency must come. Yes.
Absolutely right. Absolutely right. It is a humiliation that any country is subjected to such behavior. And of course, it then impacts how other countries then treat you if you allow yourself to be humiliated in that public manner. So I completely agree with you. I completely agree. Can I just, as we approach a close, what I want to ask here is Wampanya and his work as the special advisor to President Ibrahim Traoré for the diaspora. You've begun to describe your work and the advice you're providing. Okay, I suppose the question here is how can we in the diaspora help you to realize your role as the special advisor? How can we support you? What do you want from us, need from us to be successful? Because I want you to be assured that we want you to be successful. How can we support you, sir? How can we support you?
Thank you. To this question, I can say what the diaspora can do to help to support is first of all by being a very good people, good diaspora in the country in which they live.
Yes.
To try to make sure that they are successful there, honestly, And if they do that, then what we need is, like I said before, that they try to be connected with Africa, because now we have the first generation, we have the second generation, and if people do not feel connected with Africa, then it is difficult to be a part of the diaspora. So the first, we need them to maintain this connection, and then to try to go back. Those who want to go back, because like I said, we want to set up a temporarily program for them to be able to come and test. So we are calling the diaspora to not hesitate to go back to Burkina Faso and try to work, to do something. When they have some ideas, the ideas cannot be put in practice when they are staying there. They don't need also to wait for everything to be ready before they go back. just come back in Burkina Faso and try to put your idea in working while you are in the country. In this way, you can learn to know the people very well. You can learn to know the country better while you are setting up your business or while you are trying to find a job for yourself. So I used to say to them, like how a house is built, you don't wait that the house is completely built before you move in. You can move in, and while you are making it, finishing it. So for the diaspora also, what they can do to help the program of President Ibrahim Traoré is just to come back when they know that they have some expertise, some knowledge, some experience, some resources. What they can do is just come back to Burkina, see what is going on, and try to help, because we have a lot to offer to them.
If I may, just to follow up on what you described, and thank you for that response, are there particular sectors to which you'd like to see diaspora invest in particular strategic sectors that you feel the diaspora's both technical and financial input would greatly enhance the country? Any particular sector? Agriculture, it comes to mind, but other sectors you believe are important for the diaspora to be actively involved? Sectors.
I don't believe there is one specific sector for them, because the diaspora is very diverse. But that is why President Traoré launched a program that we call APEC, and that is also an investment and communitary investment. And so it is a good for the diaspora to invest in that APEC, a program of the president himself. And when they invest in that program, then the people in charge with that program will reinvest their money in the sectors that they think it is right now needed and can be benefit for everyone. So then they can also take this part of difficulty from themselves. So what we are demanding them is to invest in the APEC.
In the PEC, and I think I understand it. So the PEC is like a bond, is it? It's like a bond, or is it a financial instrument you describe?
Yes, exactly. It is like
it's
an agency that is now running the programs with the input, with the contribution of the people. That is it. Okay. So, for example, the EPIC has just opened an fabric to produce tomatoes, to transform tomatoes, for example. Uh-huh. And there are a lot of companies that will be opened. So they do that with the money that they collect from the people, and at the end you will get also some benefit according to the amount that you are invested in this program. Understood. So it is a one way for them to directly invest their money in the country.
Thank you. I may ask you.
The other way that is also important for the diaspora is houses, the ground. Right. Everyone who live abroad want to have a house back home, want to have a place back home, and when he can stay in. And we are also building a program that will help this. So we can also call to the diaspora to get in contact, to get in touch with us, so that we can put them in this program that will make them to invest and to be able to get really somewhere to build their own house or to just have a house.
Perfect. Because these are the basics. The other basics, I've got a message here from a young lady. She's asked about the healthcare system in Burkina Faso. Because we here in Britain are very spoiled because, of course, we pay for our healthcare through our taxes. Okay, let us describe the healthcare system in Burkina Faso. Who could?
The healthcare system is at a rebuilding state. If I can say it like this, because if you see in every arrondissement, you have a district, you have also a healthcare system in all the districts, and also all the small countries, small cities. You have also a place where people can go and to get treated. But if I look at the initiative that President Ibrahim Traoré launched on healthcare, this is going to be an impactful initiative, because they are now building hospitals. They are now trying to make treatment free for a lot of diseases and for a huge category of the people. So the health sector need also input, need also investment, because we want actually to digitalize our health system so that people, even in the diaspora, can also get through the system, can also share, can also work, do consulting through this system. We want to, that is why the digitalizing of our health system is important to us, and we are indeed working on that.
Okay, I've got another message here very quickly, and I know we're almost winding up, but another message here from a viewer asks a question as regards land ownership. I mean, the viewer is suggesting that if you are not from the country, that you're not allowed to own land, or you're not allowed to own your own home. You cannot buy it as a...
No, you're not allowed to own farmland. So that's a new law that's saying that you are not allowed to own farmland. But you can get other lands, you understand? You can get other lands, and then you can work toward getting your citizenship. You know, so getting a citizenship in Burkina Faso is not very, very, very hard, really. If you are serious in getting farmland, so you can take 1 or 2 years to work into getting those citizenship before buying those farmland. But you can buy land in Burkina Faso. You can buy land for your own home. And it's not leased like in Ghana. So it's not leased. When you buy land, it's for you forever. It's for your son, it's for your grandson, it's for you forever. It's not only a lease for 100 years, it's for you forever. But farmland, there is a new rule that come out, and that's not to stop the Africans to come and get their own land. No, it's to stop those big investors come and grab our lands. It's those big investors will come, and then with their big money, they will trick us, buy our villages today at a cheap price, and then come and sell it back to us in 100 years, because those guys, they have the money, they can leave it there sitting. So this is a good way to save the land for the diaspora, to save the land for the Africans when they are ready to come and get the land. But there are some initiatives, recently even the city of, let's say the one that was doing advertisement, but it's a new regulation that he was inviting the diaspora to come and buy. So there are lands like that, you know. So we have the diaspora city in Burkina Faso. That was phase 1. So we can ask them to do the phase 2 again. You understand? To allow the diaspora to come and buy, you understand, housing land, build their own home, things like that. So land is open to the public. Yeah.
Okay. All right. And the last, forgive me. Yes, go ahead.
Very quickly to add to that, it is to just emphasize what has been said, because the fact that the land is farmland is now owned by the state is also strategic, because I said that the initiative présidentielle pour la production agricole for agriculture has a program that aimed to train more than 8,000 young people selected across the land, over the land. So right now we are training 2,000 in a lot of training places. And with this program, at the end of the training, all these young people will be placed back in their home villages, in their places, with materials that can enable them to work. So you see, then the state has learned to give them. Now you get the training, you have this land, you have these materials, you have the knowledge. Just go and work on that, and that is also a way to make that the young people don't leave the villages anymore to go to the cities. That is a way also to give a lot of work to the people. So the fact that the land, farmland, is now owned by the state is very good. And as he said, if you come from the abroad and you want to buy a land, you can also, through a local citizen, get a land. So there is no big issue for that.
Okay, and very quickly, last question I've got here from a viewer. He wants to know about income, personal tax. What is the tax rate within the country? That's the question. Personal tax and corporation tax. Can you compare the two between Burkina Faso, maybe Holland or Britain? Is there a rate that you say? What is the personal income tax that one would pay, and what is the corporation income tax that would pay? Do you know the percentages? I know we didn't prepare for this particular question, but it's come out from the viewers asking these interesting questions. What is the tax rate in the country? What tax rate? You can respond.
I can say the tax rate in Burkina is for VAT 18%. Okay. That is what we call it, TVA. And if you look at some European countries where the tax is about 21% and even more.
25% here in Britain, 25% in Britain.
25% in Britain. So, we can be happy that in Burkina Faso we are still at 18%.
Okay, all right. Okay, that's that question. And I suppose you were able to send to us the details about the bond, the epic, so we can refer people onto that. That'd be very good. Now, we're now coming to a close. Thank you. Just to close now, I'm going to ask you, what is your closing message to the diaspora? Okay, so if I can start with you first. Get that right. Just tell us, what is the closing message to the diaspora you wish to share before we go? Yes, go up. I'll leave it to you to choose who goes first. Yeah, go ahead. Yes, go ahead.
Okay, so that's fine. So my closing message is thank you, the Motivator Show, and thank you for inviting us here. So pleasure. We are so pleased to have African, diaspora or Pan-African media like that are listening to us. So keep up the good work. So to all the viewers, those who are listening to us, we can tell them we love you. The fact that you've shown us love through those manifestations to support Ibrahim, the fact that you are showing your commitment to Africa, we know that so the end is not long, it's near. So the freedom of Africa is near. The emancipation of Africa is near. So let's keep working together, mainly hand in hand. We need unions. Our big problem is the lack of union. So we need to get hands in hand. We need to give each other ideas. We need to support each other. We need to build African ideologies in anything we are doing, either in banking, in finance, in education. It has to come from ourselves. Let's leave those books and create our own history. Let's create our own history. Okay, and let's don't look back, because the struggle is bad. They always ask us, look back, you were slave 400 years ago. Oh, look back, we colonized you 200. Let's don't look back to those, because those looking back will discourage us. We might look back to say, okay, it was you, so we'll find you later to punish. But we won't look back to say, oh, we are smaller than you or anything. Let's just focus and remember that we are one. Thank you. We are one. Viva Africa.
Viva Africa, indeed. And I must say, that was a common retort at the Global March. I attended the march here in London, and His Excellency's picture was in every stage of the march. We were in unison. We were clear that we want to ensure that this young man, the youngest head of state in the world, he has a long reign. He has our total support. Tens of thousands of Africans worldwide march in support of President Ibrahim Traoré. Tens of thousands of us, tens of thousands. Thank you for that. If I may go to you, sir. Yes, your closing message to the people.
As a closing message, what I can say, I can refer to Thomas Sankara and say that, if you are abroad and you are sleeping on the net of the other people, you are sleeping on the ground.
Yes.
And nowadays, President Ibrahim Traoré made possible to easily come back in Burkina Faso to do something. So my message to them is to have the courage, to come back.
Yes. Yes.
And to have the perseverance in the action. So these two are the main key. My main message to them: have the courage and the perseverance when you are in Burkina Faso to pursue your action. If you do that, the chance that you succeed is great. Thank you.
Praise be, praise be. I want to thank you both. Thank you both for your courage. I want to thank you both for your vision. I want to thank you both for responding to our questions, because you are continuing to create the wave for change that will bring Africa back into the fold. Okay, Burkina Faso now, Africa tomorrow. You are leading the way, the land of the upright men, the incorruptible men. Praise be, praise be. Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you. And Pan-Africanism is alive. Thank you, thank you. Bye-bye. To the next time, I remain to you, the motivator. Take care. Bye-bye, bye-bye. Wow. Au revoir, au revoir. There we go. There you go. Wasn't that fantastic? But don't go. Don't go. What continues from this interview is you, Pan-Africans, Africans, Pan-Africans. Have you yet signed on to the treaty? Let's be clear. The Pan-African Treaty of the 6th Region Diaspora. Have you signed on to it yet? And I'm going to put it back on the screen because it's now extremely important. You've seen what unity can transform a nation, because in unity is strength. Okay, so I need you to pay attention to what I'm about to say. Do not go. I want you to look carefully, absorb what it's about to describe, because this treaty brings and binds all Africans, home and abroad, under a single treaty. And put everything on the screen for you. This is, to be clear, the Pan-African Treaty of the 6th Region of Diaspora. You recall only a few podcasts ago that we reviewed this, okay? Now, I'm going to put that up on the screen, because I know that there are many of you out there who really need to be able to really appreciate its content, and we get the right section for you. There we go. There we go. I'm going to put it up on the screen, and I'm going to scroll it down. There we go. Okay. So I want you to pay attention. I want to read for you which is Article 2, which describes the objectives. You've heard what's happening in Burkina Faso. You can see in unity strength. This treaty binds us all as Africans in unity to express our strengths. These are not simply idle words. So this is the treaty which we're asking all Africans, organizations and individuals to sign up to. And let me read it for you. In the Article 2 of Objective, it says this: the signatories parties recognize and affirm the shared vision of fostering unity, cooperation, and collective progress amongst all organizations and individuals representing the African diaspora. 2. to provide the capacity for the African diaspora to speak with one voice in world affairs. 3, to uphold and maintain collective unity of purpose and collective action as the 6th region of the African Union. 4, support to ensure the full integration of the African diaspora as the 6th region of the African Union, the AU. 5, promote African-centric education, history, and cultural preservation in both Africa and the diaspora. 6, promote and support programs geared towards decolonization of education systems. Absolutely. 7, African language revival to support learning and usage of African languages in diaspora communities worldwide. Absolutely. 8, to support and establish framework ensuring the full, fair, and transparent participation of the African diaspora in the ECOSOC elections every 4 years. 9, to uphold the principles of democracy, representation, legitimacy in African Union affairs. There you are. That is the essence of the treaty that you're being asked to sign up to. It seems to me as common sense, but I understand it's been a source of some debate. It's on the screen there, but I understand it's a source of some debate. But for those of you who get it, for those of you for whom it's clicked straight away, because always idle talk is but idle talk unless we translate our words into action, because success is ours, it's yours, it's ours for the taking. Actions speak louder than words. Words are wonderful, but actions speak louder than words. It is a mindset. So if you're in agreement that, as I've described, is sound and makes perfect sense, okay, I urge you to reach out. You recall my guest at the time, urge you to reach out and do the following. Use this email address to obtain a copy of the treaty, and they'll send you the details and also how you could sign and return it to them. There's a process to be followed. So the email address is as follows. It is Pan-African Treaty, African Diaspora, and without the A at the end. Don't ask me why it's not there, but there you go. So I say again, the first part of the email address is Pan-African Treaty, African Diaspora, without the A at the end, at gmail.com. This is the Pan-African Treaty of the 6th Region African Diaspora. Okay. I positively implore you, send a message through that email address to obtain a copy of the treaty, review it. It's a common sense treaty. Sign it and send it back. I'm told that they need at least 2,000 so that the treaty can be enacted, enforceable. Okay? And together, we will make the difference. This is Pan-Africanism in action. You've seen the great works of His Excellency, President Ibrahim Traoré. You've seen his work. You've had a sense of the upliftment he's given to his people. You had a few of them here in this podcast. You can tell they're now totally convicted, the land of the upright men, the incorruptible men. They're focused, they're determined to create peace so we can create prosperity for all peoples, not just for Burkina Faso. He is a pan-Africanist. He believes in African unity, the creation of the African super state, the African lion state. Yep, on the edge of the technological revolution, social revolution, good healthcare, good education, yeah, good support system for the elderly and the vulnerable, yeah, where we live by moral standards, not these immoral standards we generally experience. Okay, and there is no one left behind. We are our brothers and sisters' keepers. Yeah? And money means nothing if you don't have good health. These are pan-Africanist principles. And he believes in this, he believes in it, he believes in it. It is what he was brought up into under the watchful gaze of the great man, Post-Sankara. There are other great men and women who I could call, and I will do that in future podcasts. But for this podcast, we need to be clear. You've heard, you've experienced. Now it's time for you to act. If in doubt, I say to you all, if in doubt, ask questions. But until then, the expectation is that you will act. Okay? This show will be re-edited, and all the references made in this show will be either on the screen or in the comment section. But I urge you not to leave this podcast. Either you give us a thumbs up that you approve, okay? Leave a comment. And if you haven't subscribed, I urge you to subscribe. It simply helps us to spread the word and be a part of the campaign to raise the consciousness of all human beings, and most certainly of Africans, okay? And in doing so, we will transform the world. In doing so, we will transform the world. For even those generals in Washington who will disparage the growth, the achievements that has been achieved in a relatively short period in Burkina Faso, okay? I say to them, please, give us a break. Come on now. Come on now. Come on. You can do better. You can definitely do better. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. So, until the next time, I remain always the motivator. Marching for His Excellency, President Ibrahim Traoré. Listen to His Excellency, President Ibrahim Traoré's wise words to the people and the world.
Our country has long been in a very complicated system. Most of you who are young like me, we were born into this system. But that's not what can allow Burkina to thrive. Because in this situation, there are only two cases. Either we accept to fight, or we remain slaves forever. I told you once, there are those who are slaves in their minds. They can only serve their master. And those people try every time to manipulate you. You must advise each other. Because every situation can be exploited by these enemies of the nation to try to discourage you, to demotivate you. So, you must advise each other and not pay attention to certain remarks, even on some media. Not everyone is obliged to be patriotic. You are the first patriots. You have decided to defend the homeland. There is nothing better than that. Those who want to support you, let them support you. Those who want to discourage you through writings, you must close your ears and move forward. As for those, we will fight them here. So, we must remember something. Recently, there is a so-called NGO. It's not even an NGO. Because NGO stands for non-governmental organization. They are not non-governmental because they are funded by a federal budget, by a state. This so-called NGO produces reports claiming that the FDS and the VDP commit abuses. It went in here, it came out there. It's to tarnish your morale. It's to scare you, to prevent you from being able to fight. No. Moreover, we are going to file a complaint against this NGO because people need to understand something. What is happening to us here? It's true that they have manipulated part of our populations in the Sahel here, but they didn't have that kind of weaponry. What brought such significant weaponry into their ranks. It's Libya. Who destroyed Libya? It's this NGO, the same NGO that made false reports and gave them to those who wanted to create a rebellion so that people would intervene and overthrow Gaddafi. And the powder keg ended up being poured into the Sahel. These millions of lives that have been taken in the Sahel, we must file a complaint against this NGO because it is responsible for these false reports it made to support this thesis of attacking Libya. They have no moral lessons to give us. Look at the world. Let them go defend human rights all over the world first before coming here. We are fortunate to have similar situations. In this world, you voluntarily committed yourselves. There are countries where people are forcibly taken, killed. You leave or you die. Others, even while trying to flee, end up dying. They don't talk about human rights because these people see us as subhumans. They see us as slaves. That's how it is in their minds. They have never changed their mindset, but it's up to us to show them that we are not slaves and we will never accept this state of affairs. So don't be fooled by the stories they tell to anyone who will listen. You must stay focused on your fight. Stay focused. We know what we are doing. And even now, the VTP commander told me that there is a human rights training session underway for group leaders and their deputies. If we make efforts, we know it's for ourselves. We no longer do things to please someone else. We do it for our homeland. And you are committed to that. Defend your homeland. Do not listen to those individuals. They should not affect your morale. In the history of the world, there have been wars. And during the Second World War, people organized themselves to defend all over the place. But there is a country that could not defend itself, which had to come and take our ancestors to go defend them. And today that same country wants to give us lessons. The pot calling the kettle black. No. You are the descendants of those same ancestors who went to defend others, who liberated the world from Nazism. Today you are fighting for your lands. These same individuals dare to create terms to tarnish you. We oppose this. We will never agree. Continue to defend your lands. It is your wealth that interests these people. It's our gold, it's our minerals that interest them. Otherwise, why come and drive out entire villages to seize our lands? So we will fight and we will reclaim our lands, our wealth. It belongs to us. It's for us. It will benefit us and our children. I therefore encourage you to remember that this war is to free us from slavery. It's for our independence. And you must keep your spirits high, stay strong. Never give in to manipulators, to those individuals who no longer understand the notion of homeland, or to those people who come from outside to try to subdue us through their terms they invented and their organizations they created to enslave us. Fight, move forward, do everything you can. Draw, as I said, from your cultural resources, from what you have been shaped by since the village. Draw from it and wage this war. Stay focused and stay strong.
Global solidarity marching in support of His Excellency President Ibrahim Traoré, Africa's youngest leader. May the 1st, 2025, in a sweeping show of international solidarity, thousands of demonstrators marched through the capitals of African nations and cities around the world in support of His Excellency President Ibrahim Traoré of Burkina Faso, currently the world's youngest head of state and a rising symbol of African self-determination. From Ouagadougou to Bamako, from Dakar to Johannesburg, and even parts of the global diaspora, including Paris, New York, and London, where the motivator is based. We are supporters of the 36-year-old leader. We gathered in public squares. We waved Burkinabe flags. We chanted pan-African slogans and calling for the end of foreign interference in African governance. The outpouring of support comes in the wake of two major developments. The 19th foiled coup attempt, allegedly coordinated from neighboring Ivory Coast, and the critical remarks from the four-star US General Michael Langley, who accused President Traoré of misusing Burkina Faso's gold reserves, a claim that many see as part of a broader campaign by Western countries to undermine leaders who challenge post-colonial influence. This claim was made without presenting any evidence to Congress or other third parties. His Excellency, President Ibrahim Traoré, since coming to power in 2022, following a popular uprising and military transition, President Ibrahim Traoré has positioned himself as a fierce pan-Africanist and reformer. Under his leadership, Burkina Faso has made tremendous strides in security, protecting the national borders, education reform, upgrading the education system, and natural resource control, important for agriculture. But most importantly, it's paid for that the state reclaiming of gold revenues for national development, in particular, has won widespread praise among citizens long marginalized by global mining interests. Traoré's vision resonates deeply with a growing Pan-African consciousness across the African continent, especially among the youth, who see him as a symbol of resistance against neocolonialism and foreign military presence. President Traoré is not just a leader of Burkina Faso, he is the voice of a generation tired of exploitation and hypocrisy, said a protester in Bamako. The world needs to understand that Africa is rising, and we stand by him. The African historic diasporic communities point to a pattern of Western nations, particularly former colonial countries like France and United States, attempting to discredit African leaders who assert greater sovereignty over their nation's resources and military affairs. The comment made by the four-star General Langley, made during a US Senate committee hearing, have been widely condemned by African and Caribbean leaders and civil society groups as unsubstantiated and inflammatory. The Burkina Faso government swiftly denounced the accusation, reaffirming its commitment to transparency and national development. We are no longer in the era where African nations are dictated to by foreign countries, a government spokesman said. Burkina Faso belongs to its people, and the President Traoré represents their aspirations. The historic diasporan African communities numbers hundreds of millions worldwide. We see President Ibrahim Traoré's leadership as a continuation of historic freedom movements led by the likes of Post-Sankara, Kwame Nkrumah, Patrice Lumumba. Online hashtag like Stand with Traoré and Africa for Africans have gone viral, with the diaspora influencers and grassroots organizations calling for greater unity amongst African ascendants worldwide. with the African continent facing pivotal questions about governance, foreign relations, and sovereignty. The mass demonstration in favor of His Excellency President Ibrahim Traoré sends a clear message that a new generation is rising and refused to be silenced.